Welcome to an introduction about competence in mediation by Thois. Let's start with a question. What do you think defines the mediator's competence? Before you start answering, we should define what competence is first. Would you agree if we see it a combination of knowledge, ability and effectiveness? If so, we do have to pass 3 big chapters to find out what the mediator's competence is in fact. This slide opens the first chapter. Welcome to the knowledge. You will see what the mediator needs to know for feeling pretty competent. Before checking the mediator's knowledge, we should clarify what mediation is first. Since mediation is ruled by the law, the answer is supposed to be found in EU directive. Actually, the definition is: mediation means a structured process whereby parties to a dispute attempt by themselves to reach an agreement with the assistance of a mediator. The essence of that definition is: mediation is where parties ask a mediator to conduct a mediation. What do you think? Does it help knowing this kind of definition about mediation? Not really, even though it could be helpful if the distinction between mediation and other procedures becomes more clear, where we have more indications for the mediator's competences. What helps is to find out the crucial features that make mediation unique. Looking for those features, we'll find that the law's definition is misleading. It mixes up features and principles. If you distract the principles, it becomes clear what mediation is in fact. Then mediation means that parties try to find a solution, which is based on mutual understanding and supposed to benefit everyone and everything. The service parties demand is a third person's help achieving exactly this aim. Pointing out the crucial features also helps to get an idea about the knowledge that is needed for realizing any kind of mediation. The main items featuring mediation are: finding a solution based on mutual understanding, benefiting parties, mediator's help is provided. First item is about finding a solution. Finding a solution means to seek. Hence, mediation is a process of seeking. The knowledge of seeking is described by the mediation's process. The mediator's competence, therefore, is everything that helps finding something. The second item is about mutual understanding. The idea is that people who know about the problem, like a fully informed actor, always will find the right solution. The challenge, therefore, is to make parties knowing about themselves, the other person, the conflict, the problem, the different views and meanings, the options, the chances and risks in regard of their case. The mediator's competence is dealing with complexity people usually deny. A crucial part of his competence is the knowledge to make things understood. The third item is about benefit. Please be aware that mediation is the only procedure evaluating the benefit. The benefit will be evaluated inside, and not outside the procedure. It becomes the main criteria for the solution to find. The mediator's competence is to read motives and needs as the key for understanding. He is able to understand the meanings and the criteria for the solution. The fourth item is about help. To manage all this, you need a meter level and somebody sharing the view on everything that is relevant for decision making. A mediator can provide it. His way of help is to help helping oneself. The mediator's competence, therefore, is to think and move on the meter level. What we learned till now is: finding something is the goal. Understanding is the base. The maximum benefit is what we want to achieve. Help is allowed. Now we know some raw elements like ingredients. Unfortunately, this knowledge still is not enough to conduct a mediation. It definitely is not enough for defining competences. Let's have a look at the ingredients. Guess we now are at the point where we have to face complexity and to analyze what we have to assemble. We have to accept that there is many more than some simple elements. There are systems and pieces also, not talking about the environment. The ingredients are the process, The case. Solutions. Arguments. Attacks. Needs. Facts. Emotions. Plans. Attempts. Influences. And so on. The list of items which have to be respected seems to be infinite. We are heading to complexity. Don't you wonder how that can be managed? If you see the ingredients above, where do you think they belong to? Correct. This is a human being. It's a good example to explain why some elements are not able to describe a system like mediation. So what does it help to know some principles and to always learn some new techniques? Shouldn't we better know whatever holds the mediation together in its inmost folds? Shouldn't we better know how we have to merge all those elements? Don't you want to know resolve complexity and how we could steer through muddy water while getting clean? This is the moment where the real mediator's competence starts. It's the moment where cybernetics, system theory, helps. Understanding the functionality is the step to precisely and securely walk along the mediation like an information management. The secret is the knowledge how all the pieces of information can be merged in a way that a solution will be the outcome in party's mind. Talking about pieces of information indicates the association of a puzzle. It's an enigma like mediation is. In an example, the grandchild is visiting grandma. To make the visit attractive, grandma suggests playing a game. Unfortunately, she doesn't have a large supply. Fortunately, she finds an old puzzle. On the cardboard is a train as a picture template, which is to be laid as an image. It is a puzzle with 10,000 parts. Unfortunately, grandma's children had poured another puzzle with 30,000 pieces in the same box, and another one with 5,000 pieces. For those pieces, a picture template is missing. Grandma could convince her grandchild to play this game. Now they first have to sort the stones in order to assign them to the respective puzzle and try to lay the 3 pictures. They try and try. With each stone they lay at the right place, the idea about the picture more and more comes up in their minds. Both are aware that it doesn't matter who lays the crucial stone at its place. No one would say, "Get the stone away. I first saw it belong there." Instead, both players are happy that the picture is recognizable and can be finished. This game doesn't know winners. It only knows a win. Now we know the elements. We know the system and pieces belonging to mediation. We have an idea how things have to be put together. Mediator's competence now is to identify the information, to qualify it by its meta information and to put it to the right system, which is the puzzle game, and the right place, which is the position in that game. The way how to catch information, and how to work out its relevance can be managed methodically. The method's name is precise listening. This is an enhancement of active listening. Following the method is better than chasing gut feelings in mediation. Now it's a competence and quality mark if a mediator knows about precise listening. Putting information together as described, you'll get a landscape of information. It looks like the drawing. It shows what is fitting into where thoughts are leading us. The way elements, systems and pieces work together is described by a theory of mediation. It's beyond Harvard concept and other scientific fragments. The logic behind is described by Arthur Trosson's cognition theory about mediation. This slide opens the second chapter. It's the chapter about ability, answering the question, how the mediator should behave for feeling pretty competent. This question should be answered by the mediator's job. The law expects him to conduct a mediation in a competent way. The knowledge we described before is how to deal with information in order to make parties find solutions based on insights to be gained. The mediator's behave should achieve this aim. If so, his actions refer the tasks given by the process and the phases. Realizing the cognition process. Each phase has an own meaning. The mediator knows about the insights needed for starting each phase. He also knows the insights to be gained by each phase. The walk along insights as described in cognition theory is possible on a meta level. The mediator's position therefore is on that level solely. In best case, he is able to personalize this level. It's the level defining his abilities. The meta level allows reflection of the case and the process. To make reflections possible, listening is a condition. Understanding is a mean. Respect is needed as well as freedom of values, neutrality and balance. Where the mediator is leaving the meta level, he is leaving the game. Playing the game means to think in the game's manner. Thus mediator's thinking is another mark to check his attitude. Mediation is benefit-oriented. Not arguments but motives are in focus. Not past but presence. Not attack but meaning is in his mind. Opposite to Chis, complexity doesn't stress him. What the hell shall I do next? This, for example, is a misleading question. If something goes wrong in mediation, what happens in that moment is the right question. It leads to understanding, instead to solutions first. Mediation is not worrying a competent mediator. For him it is a dance with the moment. This slide opens the third chapter. You remember the law expecting the mediator to conduct a mediation also in an effective way. The third chapter therefore is about measuring the mediator's work to make him feel pretty competent. What do you think makes a mediation successful? It's definitely not the settlement and not the honorary. The success is defined by the parties and worked out by the mediator. The motives determine the benefit wanted. The benefit determines the success. Mediation is self-regulating. The better you know using its instruments, the more effective you can work with it. The question stays, how can you know what is on the right way and what is not? Quality marks are needed. You find them by comparing ways to go with the ways gone. Benchmarks describe the way to go. You think an informal and flexible procedure, ruled by the parties, cannot be measured? You think one cannot measure what depends on the parties' behavior? The answer is, you can. You can measure whether the process follows a pattern. You can measure whether the mediator does what he is obliged to. You also can measure whether he does what is heading to the goal or not. Therefore we have benchmarks check whether the mediator's doing fits the frame, the law, the system, the process, the insights, the conflict, the service, the result. In total, the benchmarks guarantee that the mediator is on the right way and that the mediation realizes itself. How is it possible now to increase the effectiveness? What sounds complicated is much easier than you might think. Let's make a deal. What you should do simply is move along the flow. The flow will provide the rhythms of thinking. Check your way of thinking. Your thinking will be characterized by the meta level. Deploy the right methods. Methods help steering through the process as far as they indicate the insights needed. Check the benchmarks. Compare your mediation with marks given by the perfect mediation. If you believe that people find best results when they are fully informed, and if you believe mediation is the way to get there, you know what to do. Follow the standards of integrated mediation. This is the way we understand us. You wonder how it works now? It will work pretty well. You just need to lay the puzzle stones into the right puzzles and on the right places. Yes, indeed. Mediation is simple but not easy. Thanks a lot for listening and watching. So long. Maybe we'll meet once more. Here are some contact details. Take care.